Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack a huge paradox. It's at the very heart of India's amazing digital payment system, UPI. Now, UPI is a world beater. It has totally transformed the economy. But, and this is the crazy part, it's built on a business model that, when you look at it, just makes no sense at all. So, how did we get here and what's next? Let's dig in. Okay, so to really get your head around the sheer scale of this, just look at that number. 11.6 billion. That's how many transactions UPI handles in a single month. I mean, not a year, 1 month. This isn't just some new app, It's a complete rewiring of how an entire country thinks about and uses money. And this change is so deep, it has actually changed the way people talk. The verb paying is literally being replaced by brand names, from someone shopping in a fancy mall in Mumbai to the person buying vegetables at their local Kirana store in a tiny village. Everyone uses it. It's easy, it's instant, and this is the key part, it's totally free. And this chart, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? That is a classic hockey stick curve. The growth is just explosive, both in the number of payments and the total amount of money moving through the system. It's the kind of growth any company on Earth would kill for. But that's where we hit the big, glaring question mark. It's an incredible success story for sure, but think about it. If it's free for you and it's free for the shopkeeper, then with billions of these transactions happening every month, who's actually footing the bill to keep this whole gigantic, complicated thing running? All right, let's start to answer that by looking at who's actually in charge of this market. You'd think that if you control the lion's share of customers in an industry this big, you'd be rolling in profits, right? Well, with UPI, it's not quite that simple. So what you're looking at here is a classic duopoly. I mean, it's pretty clear, right? Just two players, PhonePe and Google Pay, completely own this space. When you add them up, they're handling something like 87% of every single UPI transaction. That's staggering. And here's the kicker. Even with all those billions of transactions and hundreds of millions of users, these fintech giants are basically losing money on their main UPI business. They've captured the entire market, but they just haven't been able to capture any profit from it. So why is that? Well, they're stuck in this absolutely brutal fight for market share. Honestly, there isn't much difference between one UPI app and another, so they have to just burn through mountains of cash on ads, on discounts, on cashback offers, anything to get you to download their app and, more importantly, to keep you using it. It's an incredibly expensive game to play. So that brings us to the missing piece of this whole financial puzzle. To find it, we've got to take a step back and understand how payment systems are actually supposed to work, how they're designed to make money. The whole answer boils down to this little acronym, MDR. It stands for Merchant Discount Rate. The easiest way to think about it is that the MDR is the financial engine for pretty much every payment network out there. It's a tiny fee that shops pay to accept digital payments, and that little fee is what funds the whole show. This diagram here shows how it normally works. You pay a shop. The shop's bank, called the acquirer, gets the money but keeps a very small slice of it. That's the MDR. Then, that fee gets split up between your bank, the payment network itself, and the app you used. It covers everyone's costs. This is how digital payments work almost everywhere else on the planet. But with UPI, India just decided to tear up the rulebook. See, before 2020, there was a small MDR on some UPI payments. But then, in an effort to basically pour rocket fuel on adoption and really push India towards a cashless economy, the government made a huge, game-changing decision. So yeah, they basically just switched the whole engine off. On January 1st, 2020, a new rule came down. The merchant discount rate for UPI and the rupee card network was now 0. Just like that, the main way this whole ecosystem was supposed to make money was gone, wiped out by law. So what happens when you just turn off the financial engine of an entire industry? Let's take a look at how that single policy decision has completely shaped and maybe even distorted the entire digital payments market we see in India today. The economic fallout was pretty predictable. This analysis here points it out perfectly. When you force the price of a service down to 0, you create a market where only the biggest companies can even hope to survive. The ones that have deep enough pockets to lose money on payments and try to make it up somewhere else. And that's exactly what they do now. For companies like PhonePe and Google Pay, UPI isn't the product. It's a tool to get customers in the door. They get you on the app because the payments are free, and then they try to cross-sell you other stuff, right? Bill payments, insurance, loans. Or they use your data for marketing. The payment isn't the business, you are. So what's the cost of all this? Well, look at this number. 55 billion rupees. That's about 660 million US dollars. It's what the Payments Council of India estimates its members lose every single year because of this zero MDR policy. It's the hidden price tag for running the infrastructure for a free service. Now, to be fair, the government knows this is a problem. They do provide some financial support to the companies in the ecosystem, but as you can see from this chart, the incentives they pay out don't even come close to what the industry says it actually costs to run everything. And that leaves this huge, unsustainable funding gap year after year. Okay, so clearly something has to change. This model has been amazing for getting everyone to use digital payments, but it's just not financially sustainable in the long run. So what's the path forward? What's next for this digital giant? Well, there are a few ideas being kicked around. First, there was talk of bringing back some small fees, but the government quickly shot that down, saying UPI is a public good. Second, the industry is, of course, pushing for more government money to cover their costs. But it's this third option, linking UPI to credit, that seems to be gaining the most traction. A lot of people see this as a potential game changer. Here's the idea. By letting people link credit cards to their UPI apps, the system can finally start charging those normal transaction fees, but only on the credit transactions. And it's already taking off, processing over $1 billion worth a month. This could be the first real, scalable way for the ecosystem to actually make some money. So, after going through this whole paradox, what's the big picture here? What's the main takeaway from all this? What really is the true cost of a free revolution? Look, there's no question that UPI is a massive success. It's a true public good. It's given millions of people a digital lifeline. But as we've seen in this explainer, free, well, it isn't ever really free, is it? Behind that super simple, super fast scan and pay we all do, there's this huge, expensive system that's under incredible financial pressure. So yeah, it works great for us, the users. But the big question we're left with is, can a revolution built on zero revenue ever really last for the companies that have to keep the lights on?